so much. It's just great to be together in this sacred space. And honestly, in this moment, I really don't have anything to say. So instead of words, why don't we just rest together and see what arises? There may or may not be some suggestions. I don't know. It's pretty deep. So let's just rest. As we continue to rest, it's wonderful to just notice what's noticed in this stillness. This is an opportunity to allow whatever isn't really ultimately us, our truest, deepest nature, to just subside, to rest, in some cases to fall away. And what remains, what requires no support, is what is really the deepest truth of us. And we are meeting that now in this stillness. We're taking this space, we allow this deeper nature to come into high relief, to be more clearly recognized. Of course, this is not a thing, it's no thing, easily overlooked. But as we rest in non-doing, just being, allow ourselves to rest in what is unchanging, ever the same. And this unchanging nature is the very ground of being. Sometimes called the substratum. It's unshakable, unchanging. It's really the only true stability. So it's helpful to just allow ourselves to rest as this ground of being just now. We can start to notice that through contrast, that this ground of being is unchanging, unmoving, and yet on this, in this, through this, things are rising and subsiding. And just notice the contrast of this unmoving, unshakable ground compared to everything else. Ultimately, it's all us. We're just temporarily making distinctions to bring greater clarity to true nature. Notice how, for example, my voice rises, appears, and then it subsides. It's a movement. But this ground of being, which is awareness itself, it's there before, during, and after the sound of my voice. It's not changing, but the voice is coming, going. And just see how steady that ground is and how changeable everything else is. Any sounds in the environment fluctuate, but the ground, the awareness is steady. Notice everything else that's appearing, sensations in the body, thoughts, waves of emotion. And normally our attention is captured by what moves. We overlook the unmoving foundation. And that's why we can get stressed and contracted. But when we allow ourselves to stand on this ground by making direct contact with this through recognition, We notice that the ground is undisturbed by all the movements. And we are this ground, so therefore we come into imperturbability. This is where our capacity is to allow everything that appears and disappears just to be. And this, that we are this grounded being, is untouched, ever the same, and allows all things to rise and fall. The amazing thing is, once we find, remember, recognize this deeper nature, this stability, this awareness, we start to see that everything that rises is this itself forming into shapes in the forms of sounds and thoughts and movements that last a varying amount of time and then returning back to their source, which is all just this. So nothing is separate. Therefore, nothing is threatening. You're sitting with this recognition. And it's amazing. Once this is recognized, we find it's always actually not only present, but there are many glimpses, like windows into this true nature, this steady constancy, the gaps between thoughts, the silences between sounds. And you may notice, experience in this moment how effortless this is, this natural being. Standing as the pure awareness, the ground of being, and allowing all movements to come, to go, all expressions of this this one life, this beingness. There's an effortlessness, an ease, a relaxation. This is the natural state. So to help keep this window wide open, moment to moment, just noticing where those openings are, those glimpses into this, what's typically experienced as the backdrop, typically overlooked, this awareness. So the silences between sounds, and also the breath was really a wonderful guide with this, because if you follow the rhythm, there's the in-breath, the out-breath, so one full breath cycle, and there's a little pause before the next breath starts. If you follow the breath, each breath ends in stillness and nothingness. Each breath takes you to this ground, that silent stillness. And of course, that ground of being is present even during the movement of breath, but it's just a way to quickly glimpse that beautiful stillness if it's been overlooked. Right here. You can fall into that gap at the end of the breath. You find that you're already there. Now, in our wholeness, we are a full spectrum of being from that ground, that stillness. That's our ultimate nature, and we're also everything else. So just beginning to come into a greater state of wholeness where everything's included. So there's the ground, and even within the breath, we find this ground, in the midst of the movement of breath, which is life's own breath. Just allow yourself to follow the breath into the body, because we'll find this pure beingness here also. You let attention drop down to your feet, just very gently resting in the feet. Right here, hidden within this part of the body, is that pure beingness in the form of energy. It's just humming along there, and you may feel it as a tingling or a vibration. So that ground of being, dancing as the energy in the feet. And it's like a river of energy that you can follow through the body from the feet up through the legs, up the back, down the arms to the fingertips, up the neck and the head, throughout. And so there's another wonderful expression of being. But here we see how we're never apart from this, even in the form. It's right here. And the form itself is nothing other than energy, just a little bit more condensed. We can experience the so-called physical body, the energy body, that vast field of stillness. It's all us. So in this moment, just inviting a centering in the form, since we're expressing through it at this moment. And I always find it helpful to center in the heart space. Follow the breath into the center of the chest and just rest there a moment. It's a more embodied approach than normally we're up in the head space. So drop down into the heart space and just rest. And perhaps you can feel the heartbeat. You can certainly feel the rhythm of breath through the chest. It's like waves rising and falling on an ocean. And the truth is, the heart is an ocean. It's a vast, deep ocean of being. We stand in the center, in the heart chakra of the body. And the whole ocean all around us, our being. So let's just rest in this beautiful beingness. There's only one being, one life. And it will move us however it will. Let's just rest until something appears or arises, and that will take us where we're meant to go. And how you'll know it's moving you is suddenly something will arise, and there'll just be an impulse to share it. It could be an insight, spontaneous poetry, a sudden strong movement of energy or emotion. And just know there's only one here, despite the appearance of many. The one life, the one being moves in and as each of us. So allow those movements to be expressed. After all, it's just life. And that will take us where we're meant to go. So when something arises, you can unmute your audio and share. But in the meantime, let's just rest until something moves. Everything is welcome, whatever it is. We don't need to filter or control. Just be on the lookout for anything within that feels like it's not resting or not at ease. Whether you share it or not, it's really about being very aware of what's arising, because really embodiment is largely just the ability to meet what arises and to meet it with love. Oh, it's wonderful to gather like this and rest as awareness. It allows us all to, you could say, grow deeper roots in this foundation of being. And that's definitely primary. We can also help clarify any remaining doubts or confusions about embodiment, which is really just living in wholeness, undivided. So any questions, comments, sharing, it's all welcome. Life will begin to move. You may be able to hear the birds outside my window here. They're making quite a fuss. It's just the dance of life.
Mark, did you raise your hand?
And it's dancing in and as and through each of us.
Mark, did you have a hand raised? Karen, I have something. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, love, yeah.
Where I am is it's like trauma in the body. Let's say the infant body needs physical touch. It needs to be, its nervous system needs to attune to another nervous system. That's what it feels like.
Okay,
And
oh, sorry, go ahead. It's hard to hear you, love, so go ahead.
How is this?
Oh, that's better.
That's better. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's also a feeling that there's something from the inside, that the energy of wholeness runs the body, right? But this body still has this kind of, it's like this infant nervous system, it believes that it needs like soothing, another soothing nervous system in order to be fully soothed. And so I'm in this kind of, it's like a middle place of interest or curiosity, and do you see what I'm saying? It's like the infant needs that. The infant body needs touch, and I get stuck there. Is that
Okay, let's break this down, okay? Because, first of all, there's a real recognition about your own knowing, your own clarity. So there's no idea here about changing that or explaining anything. And I do feel we could break this down a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I would do in this moment is, the invitation is to drop all conceptualization and just, even if it was true 5 seconds ago, just right now, let attention rest in the body, in the field, and just see what's here now without any concept. So what you're going to find, of course, is the presence, the stillness, and then anything that's presenting that appears not to be that. And just look for the sensation level of anything that's arising right now. See what you find.
There is a peace in the body.
Where is it?
My whole body, just like you mentioned at the beginning, like the river, a river of peace running, rivers running through the whole body.
Okay, and as you just notice that and relax with it, just see what you see.
I see kind of this, I feel this residual It's like this ghost grasping, like something in the body is looking for, it's just looking, it wants to attach to like another body out here.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so now see if you can go upstream a bit and find, so what's the evidence of that? So I know you're describing your experience, but there's something that's really alive and real right now with no conceptualization. Look in the body. How do you know that grasping is there? Where is it?
It feels like it's like right now, like feels like well, it's an ache in the heart.
Okay, let's start with that. Well done. Well done. Now just gently close your eyes if they're not already, and just come to that ache in the heart. You as awareness, as being, and just hold it in an embrace, the embrace of beingness. Nothing to understand or figure out, just be with that actual ache. No thinking is required, just feel, be with. Softly, warmly, like this big presence that we are is like the great mother holding this infant or sensation in the heart. But just stay with it warmly. See what happens. Notice if anything shifts, give it some time. And just be the love that you truly are for this ache in the heart. And without moving away from that, just really noticing, which means to feel the big spaciousness all around, just like an embrace holding the body, holding the heart center. It's all one, no divisions, and just be and see what you notice.
My mind really screams, how is the body itself, how is the body going to know this? Because
The body does know it, darling. Right now.
there's a meeting of the ache in the heart. It can feel the spacious, it can feel the love, but it's like, because the ache is almost it's almost like the space isn't, feels like the body is still separate from the space, from the body itself.
Okay.
So it doesn't register the loving space. It doesn't understand how the loving space can soothe it.
Wait a second. Slow down, darling. Excuse my interrupting, but slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Slow down. We're mixing up the mind and the body here, so it's okay. It's all right. All is well. Just now, we just need a little bit of a shift here. It's very simple. Just bring attention into the body itself. No, don't try to figure it out. And see, can you feel that warmth, that presence, that energy anywhere in the body? Where do you feel it? You said earlier you felt it everywhere, but this is a new moment, so tune in. Can you feel that energy in the feet? Yeah. See, it's already there. Can you see? There's no need for understanding. The body is this. It isn't just in it, it is it. So here is this nurturing presence right here in the feet. Not separate, it's right here. Just, it's not something we can understand. It has to be experienced. So just give it a moment.
I can feel it in the feet. I can feel the heaviness of the body, like I can feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's that thing I was talking about before, like this spectrum of being, that denser, so-called physical. So that's here in awareness, absolutely. Then there's the dancing energy apparently within the body. Yeah. Yeah, here it is.
Here it is.
And just rest in that.
Of it. So rest even in, how it, this denseness.
Absolutely. It's just a disguise, the same presence in a denser form. That's it. Denser frequency.
It's really comforting. It's really soothing.
There you go. Exactly. And as I often say, you are your own best medicine. This is what I mean. Your presence, if it has to be felt like you're doing now, can't be conceptual. That's it. Beautiful. Now, my invitation is just stay with that love.
Yeah.
Not that you ever left, but I mean in your felt sense. Just give it on. It's like steeping tea.
Yeah.
Just keep steeping.
Right. My own steeping in my own body. There's something in my heart, such a training that I've gone through of like, you won't find God in the physical body. The physical body is the prison. And if you get lost in the physical body, you will separate from God. There's such a training somewhere in my consciousness of that. And so there's like a fear, an old fear of going the wrong direction,
Yeah, and again, love, it's really good for you to bring this because this is, we're all one. It's universal. So there's the thing to recognize is it's when you're not thinking, but you're just being, is there a problem? No, you're just in the nourishment, yeah. So just the recognition, confusion is only in thought. It's not in you. It's not in the body. The body's humming along.
Yeah, and I'm still here. I don't go anywhere.
No.
I'm not separate from God because I cannot be separate from myself.
You can't be. And when we can rest in this deeper experience, at that, sometimes I talk about it as spiritual senses instead of the five senses. From that spiritual sensing, like you're in right now, you cannot, and I would invite you to try sometime, maybe not right now, you can't actually find a single division or separation anywhere in the spectrum of your being. It's not there. Yeah, beautiful. Really well done.
Thank you so much.
Oh, no, thank you. We're in this together. We're all with you. And it's just to see that the conceptual stuff, it can hook us. And because there's some data, there's some apparent facts there. But always, always I find to go to the experiential level and you're kind of home free. Thank you, love.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Lovely, lovely. So please keep steeping and we'll do it with you. And any comments, questions, confusions, please share, and we'll, as we can see, that beautiful sharing brought us all more deeply into the inner steeping of our being. So thank you. And if you're happy just to steep, that's okay too, but we are here together and we can certainly look into anything that needs clarification. And we can also just rest. You know, this is so powerful because we can't really, let me go the other way. We can really liberate only what's arising now. But that's all we have to meet or be with. We can't actually liberate the conceptual because it doesn't really exist. Oh, I don't know about you, but I'm really having fun. It's so great to sit with you. Oh, what a wonderful space. Thank you. So, what I started with there was, I was just going to say that this is something that I really invite everyone to notice or work with, is to, I don't remember if I talked about it last time, it's way too long ago, but it's sort of something that comes up often, is to keep reducing everything down to what's actual. So it's kind of the difference between the fact and the fiction. The fiction is interesting, entertaining, but it's not what's really happening. So to come into the fact, which is the direct experience, then we can shift or transform or return.
Ooh. Who's that? Megan. Megan, did you want to have a share?
Oh, thank you. Sometimes we forget when we're moving our computer that it makes that crunching kind of stuff happen.
Yeah, just accident. Remember, if you're on the phone, it's *6 to unmute.
Thank you. I apologize, I just don't have anything to say. So if you're waiting for something, please don't. Just instead, let's just hang out and see what moves. Something will move eventually.
Hi, Karen.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah, something you said before really resonates, which is to do with meeting whatever is arising with love. And then it also, what you were just, talking about just moments ago, also speaks to something that's happening for me. My heart's really sore because I said something hurtful to someone during the week. So it's in the past. I didn't mean to either. I'm completely bamboozled as to what hurt them. So the immediate thing now is, oh, my heart still really hurts and I don't see a way to repair it. And so I just thought I'd raise that in this space because it seems to be something you might be able to speak to.
Oh,
what to
Catherine.
do about this feeling of heart soreness and
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for speaking. My heavens, it's
Nice.
really appreciate that.
Sorry, I just realized my video was off.
Oh, it's so nice to see you. Great.
Hi.
Yeah. This is great because, again, we're all the same, and that soreness in the heart is everywhere and nowhere. So, yeah, let's look into this. I feel like there's a few angles here, though. So,
I know.
let's, yeah. And really, always with relating, we have a chance to liberate. So the first thing is always to be with what is here. And
Yeah.
that means to, as you said beautifully, drop the past and just
Right.
come, just now fresh, okay? Just now,
Yeah.
gently, very gently land in the heart space and just be there without trying to change or fix or heal.
Mm.
And just meet whatever's there.
Okay.
Give it a moment. And it's helpful to close your eyes. You can have all the space you need, love. Close your eyes and just feel gently, gently. And it's like this beautiful dance of feeling and being with all at once.
Mm.
And you may also sense the big space all around you that is you. That's what's holding this.
I can certainly palpably feel it. Well, the heart space just feels like a shimmering presence, which actually seems separate from the heart soreness, which is interesting to me. I thought the heart soreness was the whole heart space, but it's not at all.
There you go. Oh, you're just, I have to just record that and keep it as a snippet. This is what I mean when I say fact versus fiction, direct experience. That's well done. That's it. Rather than assuming, we take a closer look and then you see, wow, it isn't the whole heart. It's just there's this and with that shimmering presence. Beautiful. Already see the difference in your experience already.
Yeah.
So just hang out. We're not done. Just hang out gently, gently. Beautifully done. That's exactly what I mean. Nothing to understand or fix. Let that beautiful shimmering presence permeate the ache. You don't have to do anything, it just happens. Softening, softening. And just see what happens, what shifts, or what becomes known. And notice
Well,
where, oh, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, getting out of the story and the thoughts which I've been stuck in, the space just gets the space that I'm experiencing is inside me is just just gets larger and larger the more I drop in to that. And I don't feel like I need to find a solution, but whereas I was a bit stuck with that. And I'm kind of fascinated how easy it is to go back into that old response. After all these years, I'm astounded that it's not more natural to go into the presence, but it seems not.
Well, hold on there. Because we may not be basing that on the full facts. There's some conceptual in there. You know, something Eckhart once said to me, and I've shared this before, but it comes up every once in a while. It's a subtle thing, but it points to something huge that you're just sitting in right now. He said to me once, I kind of brought a report like that to him. It was when I was volunteering as his assistant a long time ago. Anyway, and we had a meeting. So forgive me if I've said this before, but I'll just give you a little context. We had a meeting, and I phoned to say I couldn't come. And he said, why not? And I said, because I'm just all in my head and I'm all in the mind, whatever, right? And so he giggled, and then he said, this is for you. The mind cannot know how present you are.
Yeah.
Just let that in for a second. I'm going to say it again for all of us. The mind cannot know how present you are.
Yeah.
So you see, it's the wrong instrument to measure the so-called progress.
Yeah.
Because the mind is trained to look for what's of its domain. Thoughts. It doesn't notice the absence of thoughts. You could be sitting in stillness and peace for 3 weeks running. Then one little thought blips up and, hey, oh my gosh, I've lost it again. Or why can't I? So the point is to ultimately to see this truth, which is the solution. To see this truth means we no longer put the weight of authority in thought. We put it in experience.
Yeah.
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 So that's one where virtually all of us on the spiritual path at one time or another get a little bit tripped up with that one. Oh my gosh, after all this time, I'm still ... First of all, no.
Yeah.
And secondly, you know,
go on.
Secondly, I mean, it's just this whole evolution and the deep presence and stillness and awakeness is obviously very much there. It's totally overlooked. So it's not an accurate report. And secondly, there is only now. Like, that's not a concept, it's a fact.
Yeah.
And so in this moment, it's only, oh, look, something's arising now. And it's just the mind's trying to attach, this big, it's a remaining sense of self that's just
Trying to insert itself back in the picture.
That's it. Here I am. It's my journey. I'm on this unfoldment. I've done all this work and I'm still reacting. You see, it's just creating a fictional sense of self. No big deal. We just notice that. And if you narrow everything down to this moment, that falls. It just drops. You have to do
Yeah. No, it did. It did until I said that thing, and then it all contracted back. But I really got to see it again.
Well, so just relax and open. And I wanted to say something else about this, but just more important is to steep and relax just now. Drop gently, very gently into the heart space. And just rest. And just notice, you may have already considered this, but it's certainly worth mentioning. So notice what a gift this experience was, because look where it took you.
Yeah.
Everything is serving embodiment always. And the trick I find with anything to do with the so-called other is, again, this isn't what happened for you, this first little part here, but something happens and somebody has a reaction or we do whatever. The illusion is that there's someone else out there that's done something or whatever. The truth is something apparently out there has just touched something in you. That's all. That's all that happened. That person's reaction or whatever it was just touched something in you that was already in you. It wasn't a wound imposed by what that person did. It just touched something that was already in you. That's why it was achy. That's why it was sore and tender. And so all you have to do is just be with what's there in you. And so it's like a little bit of a shortcut in a way, which when you just recognize that, how it works for me is anything that produces any kind of feeling of discomfort that has especially to do with apparently someone else. The first thing I do is just notice, oh, look at that reflection that I'm calling a person. And then I just turn it around. What's that touching in me? And it's the end of the projection. That's the end of the problem. And that's your entryway into what needs love, what needs healing.
What were the words you just used? What you turn it around and what it touches in you.
Yeah, so you can ask. You can use like inquiries, like a bridge into the experience. You can ask, but you don't have to use words. The point is just look to see, what is that touching in me? That's it. Your audio is muted, so I don't know if you meant to do that.
I don't know why I did that.
That's good. That's good.
It just did it mysteriously.
And then you just turn that, and then you find, like we did, you just look to see it's something that's alive. You call it an ache, but it's just something alive that you just be with. And that's what it's all about. And then you're now working at sort of that cleanup crew job of resolving, healing, cleaning up, whatever can still be touched. That's it. So everything is serving. Every person, every encounter, if it's causing a reaction or anything, it's actually serving liberation. But the trick is to not be mesmerized by, oh, there's another person or they did this. Turn it around. What did that touch in me? And that's what you be with.
So applying that to this situation where I hurt someone else, how do I turn that around? Like, is the question then, why am I impacted by accidentally hurting them?
That's it. Yeah.
But it seems like a no-brainer, doesn't it? Because I hurt them and I didn't mean to. I'm stuck in my mind with it, I think.
Yeah. Let's not, no. So I was going to say this earlier, but a little bit of Byron Katie here would be very helpful. So I hurt that person. Is that true?
They would say so.
Okay. But they're not here. You are.
Yeah.
And it's not about them. It's absolutely not about them. But the point is to just, what that does is it creates a gap of breaking through the mental stuff, because this one is actually wonderfully tricky, because it looks like you did something to someone. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
That's what caused that part of you to be touched. It's a perfect setup. Now we are, ultimately there's only one, but in the appearance of these unique expressions, well, it's funny, what just popped in is, the 4 agreements. Take nothing, don't take anything personally, don't make assumptions. That person is responsible. So whatever happened, you just innocently being yourself, something that touched in them. But if they don't understand this, they're going to blame you instead of potentially meeting what's in them. So we can't do anything about that. Your responsibility is your state of being, your inner space. That's it.
Yeah, right.
And life will bring whatever. I mean, with mathematical precision, it will bring whatever is going to touch those things in us that are still needing healing, let's say. this was a perfect setup to touch this tender part of you, and now you're being with it, and that's what heals it.
So I don't even necessarily need to know what the tender part is. I just need to be with it and stay in that, at that level of the, like, what's happening right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because presence, this awareness, but it's got to be that felt attention in there. It can't be up here, conceptual. Presence is the healing agency.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Now, at times when we be with whatever arises, there'll be times when suddenly, it's, after all, there's only the divine, and it's manifested as everything, including that ache. So it means it's intelligent. And there are times when, as we know, when we just be with what's arising, information will come. But it's for me really not useful to look for that. It's just whatever arises may be informative, may help the healing and relaxation. But it's, for most of us, it's more important to just be with the feeling, because then we can get off into the conceptual. And what you may have noticed is when that reaction happened, that tender part of you was touched, when you were up in the thought realm, what that actually is it's a learned response. It's part of the survival mechanism. It moves away from discomfort. So the mind, it's misguided, but it tries, anything uncomfortable is a perceived threat. So it tries to move us away from anything uncomfortable. And where does it move us to? Into thoughts. So that's, again, it's just, that's never going to be where the solution is, because the truth isn't there either. It's just to notice. And this is spiritual maturity. As the awakening and embodiment mature, more and more we can see this movement away from. And so we're just reversing that and moving closer to, because our actual natural response is to embrace and be with and move closer to what arises. It's a learned response to avoid and move away from. And that's why things stay kind of in residence, in the field, because they're not being met. And it's only by meeting them that they're healed and liberated. But we're moving away. And we do that through stories, thinking, analysis. When we're analyzing something, very often it's just a way the mind is using to move away from discomfort, because it doesn't get that that's what will keep it in place, is staying up here. So you come in, just feel, be with.
That's very, very helpful. That reminder to always go in.
That's what's real. That's what's real. That what you call an ache, even if you drop that label, that sensation in the heart is real. It's actual. Everything else is secondhand, conceptual.
Explaining it, trying to, as you said, trying to get around it, trying to get away from it, trying to fix it by understanding it, in fact.
Analysis, that's what I mean by, thank you, perfect example. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with anything. It's just, this is really the express route to liberation, freedom, embodiment, wholeness, happiness. Let's cut to that. That's what we're here for in this gathering, is let's cut to the chase and get right to it.
Absolutely. Yes, I'll admit to that. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Catherine. It's
Thank you very
awesome that you
much.
spoke up. Again, we all are served. Every time someone shares something, we're all brought into a deeper experience. So thank you. You as life bringing that to us. Wonderful.
And thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. So I think, Sarah, you had a few things you wanted to end with. So let me just say first, thank you. Really nice hanging out with you. And great to be with you. So appreciate being in your presence. Thank you for inviting me, Sarah.
Thank you for being here. Make sure, there is anything arising for anyone that needs to be spoken.
Hard to hear you, love.
Oh, just feeling like making sure there isn't anything that needs last things to be spoken by anyone who's currently here. Yeah, it's amazing how fun is a great word. As much as it's about the ache and the tender, there's such a fun. Thank you so much, Catherine. Yeah, and thanks everybody. This is the first time I've ever shared as a host, but I just felt so held in this space, and it's what's very up for me right now. So I just love this. I love community like this. And well, first I'll just say, Karen, for you and for those on the call, I wanted to mention that you do a weekly Wednesday online embodiment call, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on Zoom. Yeah.
It's on Zoom like this, weekly on Wednesdays. And that there's a special online workshop on April 29th called Soul Healing in the Celestial Realm. That's beautiful. So Karen's website is www.karenmcphee.com. So you can find out everything there. And yeah, the Center for Non-Dual Awareness. We're an emerging community. We're exploring what it is to come together and kind of just listen to the field and respond to it and feel connected as a collective group being moved to serve the whole. So we feel as we drop into this place in ourselves, we're moved to serve the whole in very unique ways. And so we say, teachers, coaches, therapists, artists, entrepreneurs, healers, and what we call secret agents of awareness. So we each have such a unique way that this moves to offer nourishment to the whole that we're a part of. So we're at once creating support for each person's unique offering to the world, and we're exploring, okay, we each have a unique way, and when we come together as a collective, there's a unique expression in service to the whole as a collective that we all kind of tap in and listen to. So it's this, we're in the beginning of exploring, and we're all just kind of listening. Those that are called to be here are all listening. How's this moving us? What's this kind of collective community that's being created here? So everyone who joins in is part of this this beautiful exploration and evolution. So on that note, we're having a retreat in the middle of May in Berkeley, California. And you can find all of that info on our website, nondualcenter.org. You can sign up on our newsletter list. We do these satsangs with different members every every month. And you can contact me about membership or with anything that you feel is arising. It's sarah@nondualcenter.org. Yeah, I think that feels very truthful to say. It's we're really an unfolding. We're really in a deep exploration as a community, as an awakening community. So I'll say that. Does anyone else have anything they want to share? I'd love to sit together these last 2 minutes, and if that's okay with you, Karen, and then I'll unmute everybody and we can all say goodbye with our voices. All right, beloveds. So good to be with you all here. Thank you so much. Let me unmute everyone and we can all say, I love you to each other. Goodbye and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. So much love to you all. Have beautiful days and beautiful nights. And thank you, Karen.
Yeah, thank you, Karen. That was amazing. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bless you. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye, Jim.
Bye. We love to you all.
Oh, love to you. All right, here I go ending. Hopefully see you at another one of these. If you're not on our email list, get on it. And we do one of these every month with different teachers, different members. Okay. Bye.